couple of years ago, Mr. Lutz, the media may have portrayed Pontiac as a damaged brand. With the launch of the Solstice, doubling the sales of the Miata, and the growing popularity of the Pontiac G6, where do you see Pontiac now as an evolving brand compared to maybe a couple of years ago?
Well, I would say the transformation is not yet complete, but it's certainly in a phase of rapid improvement, and there will be. What we're going to do is position Pontiac as a resolutely sporting sedan and coupe brand. We're not going to try to go for daily rental, and there'll be no Pontiac minivans anymore and all of that stuff. It's going to be sedans, coupes, and roadsters, mostly with rear-wheel drive. And then explain for launch here the Pontiac G8, which I think is just an extremely lovely, beautifully proportioned four-door sedan with a fantastic chassis, and either a 260 horse V6 or a 365 horse V8 with brilliant ride and handling. And to me, that's the essence of Pontiac. So I think that we're doing the job on eliminating the damage from having cars that are shared, the same cars shared with the rest of GM. That part's, but it's going to take a while for the public to fully understand the transformation of the brand. I think this G8 is going to get a lot of attention. I've got a lot of emails from people who say, if that thing looks like it does in the illustrations I've seen, I'm going to dump my Acura tomorrow and buy one of those.
Good assumption, good thing to say. Moving on to Saturn, again, just a couple of years ago, people may have thought that Saturn should have been a brand that was discontinued instead of a Oldsmobile. Considering the Aura just was named the car of the year, the introduction of the Saturn Astra. Saturn now compared to then, and where do you see Saturn in the future in General Motors' portfolio?
Well, I think Saturn is going to grow because Saturn is the one brand in General Motors where the baby boomers who grew up with Hondas, Toyotas, Nissans, BMWs, it's the one GM brand where they say, well, I might consider a Saturn. I'm not going to have a Buick, I'm not going to have a Chevrolet. Those are those old GM brands. I don't want anything to do with that. And those are hard to convert. But Saturn, they say, well, Saturn is kind of like import oriented. I might consider a Saturn. So we see Saturn as a sort of an entry into the import intender market. And as such, with the product lineup, if you look at the Saturn lineup now, it's almost the best in the business. I mean, show me another brand that's got the new Saturn Vue small utility, the crossover, the Aura sedan, the Sky Roadster, and now the Astra 5-door hatchback and the 3-door hatchback coupe. And totally sort of European in character, but at American prices. I think the lineup is sensational. I think it's really set to grow. We sure have spent the money on it. And look at this. I mean, 3 years ago, Saturn was a franchise with arguably not a lot of product. Now, the Saturn Sky is the oldest vehicle in the showroom.
At 20 months old?
Yeah, exactly.
Saying something. One more question if I can. I know you're short on time. Alan Mulally drove a Lexus before he'd ever driven a Ford. He said the reason being was because it was the finest machine in the world. What are your thoughts, or maybe what's your view on Toyota in that aspect?
Well, I think Toyota is an excellent company that has step by step, brick by brick, built an image which now many people believe in, and they invested a lot of time and a lot of money over and a lot of years doing many things right, and they have won the trust of large portions of the American public and the world public. I don't think they're unbeatable. I don't think their cars are that great. Car and Driver just did a comparison test, Saturn Aura versus Camry. 4 out of 4 judges came to the conclusion the Aura was by far the better car, and importantly had better fit and finish and better sheet metal quality and a nicer interior. So I don't think they're unbeatable. I think they're very good, but I'll put the new Cadillac CTS that's coming out this spring, I'll put that against any Lexus and any EW in the world in terms of appearance, vehicle dynamics, fit and finish, interior, I mean, you name it. We can help these guys. The question is, how do we make the American public realize this? That's the challenge.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Mr. Lutz. I appreciate you stopping by and taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, you're quite welcome. Thank you.
Thanks.